So when the 116th Congress convened in January, we saw the largest ever female class of lawmakers sworn in. And at the same time, Nevada seated the nation's very first majority female state legislature. Since then, a wave of bills prioritizing women's health and safety have been brought to the table. In May, the Nevada Assembly passed the Trust Nevada Women Act that decriminalizes abortion procedures. The bill is expected to go to the governor's desk and become law. And here to expand on that bill's significance and also just the importance of female representation in general is State Senator Yvanna Cancela, who introduced that bill. She was appointed to the State Senate in 2016. And she recently made some headlines when she asked a male colleague if doctors should ask a man his marital status before getting a vasectomy. My kind of lady. It was in response to his defense of a law requiring doctors to ask a woman her marital status before getting an abortion. Senator, great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So first, just let's talk about Nevada as the first ever majority female legislature. Why do you think Nevada was the first place to cross this important milestone?
I've been asked this a couple of times, and I don't have a great answer for why Nevada, but one of my colleagues said, why not Nevada, in response, and I thought that was appropriate. Just like many other places, women across the state said they wanted to be in the decision-making seat, and they worked hard and won. And I think it made the difference in the legislation that was passed and in the way that our session ran.
What made you want to get into politics?
The short version is Donald Trump becoming president. I'd worked for a labor union for about 6 years, and when Trump became president, I knew the things I cared about: high quality, low cost, affordable health care, immigrant rights, workers' rights were all going to be on the chopping block, and I decided to put my name in the hat to get appointed to the seat when it became vacant, and was just elected again in 2018.
That was actually one thing I wondered about, as I know Nevada is a really strong state for unions. Do you think that's part of why so many women have risen to the ranks of leadership in the Nevada state legislature?
One of the things that unions do that allows for, I think, members to go on to be in office is leadership development and training. And so I don't think there's a shortage of union members in office in Nevada, and I think it's a direct result of the work that unions do to prepare members to be leaders in their workplace, in office, and in their community. So it's definitely part of it.
So talk to us about some of the bills that moved this year. How have women impacted the laws that are actually being made now?
Well, we had discussions about things that I'm not sure would have risen to the forefront of conversation, but for having a majority female legislature. So we passed a law creating a maternal mortality review board, which is a huge issue, particularly in communities of color. We passed a bill allowing for $6 million of family planning monies to get reinvested back into the state. We passed a number of bills dealing with sexual harassment, dealing with survivors of sexual violence, and a number of bills dealing with domestic violence. And then certainly the Trust Nevada Women Act, which I sponsored, was an important bill that I'm not sure would have gotten done if there weren't a majority female legislature.
Well, and it's interesting to set Nevada against the trend we're seeing in a lot of other places in the country where incredibly onerous restrictions on women's health care access are being passed.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what's happening in other states is personally frightening. And I'm so proud of Nevada's long history of defending women's reproductive freedoms. In 1973, when Roe v. Wade was decided, the legislature passed a law putting those protections into state law. And then in 1990, which feels like, it must have felt like trench warfare, women passed a ballot initiative protecting those laws into statutes so that they couldn't be amended or repealed. And I'm so grateful to stand on their shoulders. And it's all part of Nevada's long history of defending a woman's right to make decisions over her own body.
I'm sure you've probably been part of workforces that were majority male. How is just like the working dynamic different with a majority female legislature?
It's not that women are better than men or men are better than women, but we are different. There's a different style of work that takes place with women when women are working with women and when women are working with men and when men are working with men. And I think having a majority female body meant that some of those differences came to the forefront. So there was more collaboration, more discussion. And I think one of the things that was really special is that there was a culture of women empowering women, of women working together to make sure that first term female legislators were on top of the work they needed to do and were leading on key issues. And I think that mentorship was really what made us successful this session.
Senator, I did want to ask you a little bit about presidential politics since you are in Nevada and it's kind of an important state. I believe you endorsed Joe Biden in the Democratic presidential primary. What was it about former Vice President Biden that was exciting to you?
I've gotten to meet the vice president a couple of times, and there's something about Joe Biden, about his sincerity, about his genuine love for our country that to me makes him the best choice to be president. I think that he has a vision for uniting the country, for bringing the country back to a place where we can have conversations and make decisions without hate, without racism being a part of the mix. And I'm excited to be a part of the team of folks supporting him, and I'm looking forward to campaigning as much as I can to get him across the victory line in November of 2020.
What sort of energy for him are you seeing in the state, in particular among your union brothers and sisters?
Well, Joe Biden has a long history of supporting working people and a long history of being able to show that his actions match his words, which not all politicians can do, especially on working people issues. And so I think people are excited to have him in the race, but it's a crowded field, and Nevada will have no shortage of presidential candidate visits. We've already seen, I think, a candidate a week since within the last few months. And so
it's hard to keep track of, yes.
Yeah.
This week, he's come under fire a bit for reiterating his support for the Hyde Amendment. There's also some reporting looking back at his role in trying to limit access to birth control under the Obamacare law. Is that concerning to you?
I think, like any politician, the vice president has evolved in his positions, and he reaffirmed his commitment to a woman's right to choose, and has reaffirmed that he wants to work with women to craft the best policies for women's reproductive health rights. And so I believe in his sincerity in wanting to do what's best for women as they make decisions over their bodies.
State Senator Cancela, thank you so much. It's great to speak with you today.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too. And we'll have more Rising right after this.